Hello, Gemini. Welcome to your bonus reading here on Dove and Serpent Tarot. My name is Paul. Thank you so much for letting me read for you. If you're watching this reading was meant to find you. Please hit the like button, leave a comment. Consider subscribing to the channel, especially if this reading resonates with you. If there is anything you would like me to pray over or meditate upon or send positive energy toward, please let me know. Now, this is a general reading, so try to be open and receptive to whatever may come through during our time together. I am merely the messenger, and I ask you to connect directly with each of these cards and use your own intuition to take you beyond the details that I provide. And remember, Gemini, that the most important part of any tarot reading is you. Four of Pentacles. You're somebody with a very practical head on your shoulders right now. I feel like you're kind of, you're working on the simple things. You're working on the basics. You're somebody who is trying to get your house in order. It could be literally that you're sort of doing work around the house. To me, the Four of Pentacles is a good, stable base. It is sort of our safe place. It's those things that we rely on within ourselves. The routines, the habits that we can always, no matter how chaotic life gets, we just fall back into our steady routine of things. Like they say, whenever there's some kind of chaos in life, let's just get back to the routine. Let's go back to basics. Let's rely on those things that we've established already in life that work. Okay? I feel like you're somebody that has a lot of routines, good, healthy routines. Okay? And since we have a four, I wonder if we're coming out of a time of a lot of stress, of a lot of maybe chaos, and you're falling back on that stable, steady sort of life that you know. Yeah, going back to basics, back to the routines and the habits that work. Okay? Because in some ways, the Four of Pentacles is just like, it's like we have a sanctuary. Yeah, that we're kind of staying in the house here. The storm is outside. We're here where it's safe and it's okay. We feel good. We feel secure. This is safety, stability, and security. Okay? Let's see what is going on. Let's see why we're here doing this right now. Yeah? Well, maybe because there is a Seven of Cups outside, right? We have a Six of Wands. We have the Star card. We have a Prince of Wands and a Ten of Wands. See, a lot of fire going forward. Okay? And I think that, perhaps right now in your life there is a lot of sort of, I don't want to call it toxicity, but it seems that maybe there is some emotional upset going on. There is kind of a lot of heavy energy around you. Could be a lot of drama, at work, at school, at home, in interpersonal relationships. It could be that you're just really trying to get back to those basics, get back to those things that work, the healthy routine, getting back to your exercise routine, your yoga routine, your meditation, your breathing exercises, those things that work for you. Because it feels like that Seven of Cups is still right outside the door, and this is, we could look at it in terms of health, right? That this is sort of a tendency toward unhealthy choices. So we're trying to avoid that. We're trying to get back to these basics. We're trying to get back to healthy choices. If this is financial, right? This is kind of like, okay, we've been spending too much money now. We're trying to just get back to our budget. Yeah. If this is romance, or if this is, a relationship with another person, let's say, right? This is something that has just gotten a little bit out of hand emotionally, right? That we've found ourselves getting upset. The Seven of Cups is that we're just sort of we're upset by something, or feel like, and we feel if we stay in this emotional state, it's going to get worse. So what we do is we sort of fall back to our safe place, our sanctuary, our home, and this stable routine. This is familiar, this is comfortable, this is where we feel that we are sort of in control, right? So I feel that there is some chaos around you right now. Yeah. It could be something happening at work. We see a lot of fire energy kind of in the forward position too. Above you, below you, and of course directly in front of you. So I feel like this is a motivation for you in a way. Okay? It almost is like, it's kind of like a person who is motivated by the negative things. You know what I mean? Like negative reinforcement, negative motivation, which kind of is, I'm trying to think of an example that doesn't sound too serious, but it's kind of when you look at your life and you see everything that you don't like. You see everything that you don't want. And you say, I don't want to be like that, so I'm going to work harder. Right? It's not that we're looking at everybody out there who's successful and thinking, I want to be like them, I want to be like them, I want to have what they have. No, we're looking at aspects of ourselves or people around us or things out in the world, and we're thinking, I don't want to be like that, so I better do something now. You know? Motivating us to change our habits, to focus on what we know we need to do. Things have gotten too out, and we know that if we keep going this way, we're going to sink. This is a quicksand thing. It's not going to work out. Okay, you take this away, and you've got a pretty good deal here. Okay? So I feel like right now it's just about identifying what these emotional distractions are, what these toxic or unhealthy elements are in your life. Sort of identifying all those things that you don't want to be, that you don't want your life to become, right? And it's kind of like a scared straight sort of deal, right? Where we're getting back to our habits. We're getting back to what we know we need to do for ourselves to get the life we want, to have the life that we want. We have to identify these things that we really don't want to become. We don't want to sink further into this. Okay? Now, let's put the rest of our cards on the table here. We've got a 4 of Swords. We've got a Princess of Wands, an 8 of Swords, but a 9 of Wands. A lot of fire. A lot of fire and air, right? It's mostly fire here today. Lots of fire. Because we're motivating. We're getting fired up about something. We're getting fired up for our life. And you've got this major arcana over here. The Star card, your destiny, your fate. And the Star card does 2 things. It shows us, first of all, what's going on inside. What are your blockages? What is preventing you from becoming the person you want to become, from living the life you want to live? Spirit is shining a light on those things. Spirit is shining a light on the 7 of Cups. Could be bad habits. It could be distractions. It could be people that you see out in the world that you sort of look at and you say, I don't want to be like that. You know? It's seeing things in ourselves that I see myself going kind of down a certain path. I don't want to go down that path. I better do something about it. See, sort of that negative motivation, you see? But Spirit's showing us those emotional blockages inside. What are the things that you feel that are preventing you from getting up and changing your life and moving in the direction that you want to move? Okay. Sometimes the 4s, we have 2 of them now. Sometimes the 4s, 4 of Swords, 4 of Pentacles, we are staying here because it's safe, because it's secure, because we feel okay here. Outside is the storm. Outside is confronting that. Outside is pushing forward as hard as we can, right? Outside is taking risks. So we stay inside this little box because that's comfortable. That's the routine. Anytime things get stressful, we fall back into our routines. Maybe the Seven of Cups is part of that, right? Maybe the Seven of Cups is a routine of, maybe unhealthy choices, but if anything, it's a routine of sort of complacency. It's a routine of not trying, right? Sometimes we got to get out of the box. Sometimes where we think we're safe, we think we're doing the right thing here, but maybe that's where some of this quicksand is. And the longer we sit at home, the harder it's going to be for us to get moving again. An object at rest stays at rest. The 4 is a rest. The 4 is meant to be a temporary place where we just can kind of repair, restore ourselves, but then we can get going again. We linger here too long, and it becomes just as toxic as whatever it is out here that we're trying to avoid. Whatever we're trying to correct or repair in our lives, We're trying to purify this water, see, the emotions. We're not feeling good about something. But the longer we stay at home in bed, the worse we're going to feel about it. So it's better to confront whatever these emotions are and say, okay, I want to purify this water. I want to get this water back to a 6, right? A 4 even. A 4 of cups would be good. A 3 of cups, a 2, an ace, right? Purifying it. Maybe we have to go through the 5. We have to do the difficult work to purify this water. But the longer we're sitting here in this 4, the more difficult it's going to be to rise up and do this. Let's select our mystery card. Okay. This is a random card from the Smith-Waite Tarot. This is the factor infinite and unknown. We're going to put it right over here with Dwight K. Schrute. Bears beats Battlestar Galactica. And we're not going to look at that card until the very end, but it will tie everything together and give us the confirmation that we need. If you have a prediction, please put it in the comments. Taking a look around the room, we've got our major arcana. We've got fire, 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 a little bit of water, a little bit of air here, a little bit of earth. It's mostly fire, right? It's mostly spirit showing you what is preventing you from really getting motivated and getting fired up, right? And getting moving with your life, whatever path you're on. I feel like in some ways there is toxicity in your home. In whatever this, what should be your safe place right now, what should be your sanctuary. There's some poison there. There's some toxicity there. Maybe it's a relationship. Maybe it's just simply you've been here too long with your feelings and we just really got to get up and get out and do something. It could be a relationship. It could be that there is something going on in your home here that that isn't really encouraging you. Okay. So it's kind of like we thought we were safe from the sludge, the toxic sludge outside, so we went home into our safe place. But then we're realizing that that sludge is sort of seeping in under the door when we're in our safe place, so it's like nowhere is safe. And maybe this is the idea. We can't run from it. We have to just face it and deal with it, recognize it, and take charge. Okay. And I think this is something that the divine energy in your life, the spirit, is showing you. Look, you can't run from these feelings. You can't escape this 7 of Cups, the toxicity, whatever it is. We can't run from it and escape it. We've got to just sort of confront it and deal with it and get on with things. Okay? This is the only major arcana energy here. So it kind of is showing you that we're sort of stuck. And no amount of hiding or running away is going to get us unstuck. We sort of have to unstuck ourselves, you know. So we've got a lot of fire energy because we're trying to get back to the fire. We're trying to get back to that motivation. We want to get rid of whatever this toxic thing is. And maybe this is something, again, in your house, in your living situation. Maybe it's a relationship. Maybe it's a conversation that we really need to have with someone. Maybe this is the idea that you're starting to realize you need to change your living situation in some way. Okay? Because what should be your safe and secure and healthy place has this sort of unhealthy influence. Okay? It is your temple. Now, we could be talking about physical stuff, your body, your physical health. Okay? That in order to achieve the strength and the robustness and the zest for life and this motivation, we've got to remove whatever the toxic element is, either in our house or in our body or in our life or in our spending, or, you get the point, right? So the Seven of Cups is that which really needs to be purified and removed. The toxic element of this, right, needs to be kind of distilled out. You have a Six of Wands underneath everything. You're very capable of manifesting your goals, your dreams, your will. This is a card of victory. This is victory after struggle, after fight, right? Success after strife. You know that if you fight, you can win. Yeah. So you've got to, this is what's kind of hidden beneath the surface in you, is this confidence. Confidence that you can do it. Confidence that you, confronting the sort of the monster or the, I can't help but think of that show, The Walking Dead, that we can't run and hide. Sometimes we just gotta fight, and I'm not in a literal way, but we have to assert ourselves. We need the confidence that we can succeed. That if we do meet the challenge and work hard, that we will accomplish our goals. This is that energy underneath the surface that needs to come up to the front, that belief, that confidence. It's Jupiter in Leo. This is kind of a card that's like a growing realization that I can do it. I can do anything. That this is almost like we have to tell ourselves that I am the greatest, nothing can stop me, and if we convince ourselves of that, then we can start to make it come true. Okay? But we need to believe that. We need that confidence so that we can get out of the 4. We have a 4 in thought. We have a 4 in the physical environment. Something is sort of contained in this box. We have to get out of the box. We have to get out of the comfort zone. We have to get out of the limitation. We got to stretch ourselves beyond our limits. And to do that, we have to believe that that we can, right? And then, of course, you have more Leo energy at the top here, the Prince of Wands. This is, once you get started, Gemini, you can stick with something. There's the beginning, there's the middle, and there's the end. This is the middle. The middle is usually the longest portion, right? The beginning of the race, over quick. The end of the race, yeah, whatever. But the middle portion is where the consistency and the perseverance is really required. So you have this ability, Gemini. Once you get started on something, you can keep going. It's much easier to maintain a constant speed. It takes way less fuel, way less energy to keep something in motion than it does to put something in motion from a rest. So the hardest part of this is just to get going. Once you get going, it's going to be a lot easier. Okay? And that's why we've got the 10 of Wands in this future position, because the energy that you need right now, looking forward, the path forward for you, is to use all of your might to get up and move forward. Come up to speed. Once you get up to your speed, your cruising speed, you're going to be able to dial this back. You know, it's not going to be so hard. It's going to be easier to stay in motion. Does that make sense? So the next step for you is going to be one of just a surge of all the power. You got to dig deep and find all of the energy that you can. Okay. And this card is also suggesting that maybe there is help. Maybe there is a need for you to ask for help. Okay. Sometimes this card is 2 against the world. Yeah. Sometimes it's suggesting that this process can be easier if we've got somebody that can hold us accountable, if we've got somebody that can hold our feet to the fire, if we got somebody that's doing it with us to help motivate us, either doing it literally together or we're just sort of motivating each other and keeping each other accountable. And, you know, if you're trying to go to the gym every day, it's better if you've got a buddy that, you know, is going to call you at 5 in the morning and say, okay, are you ready? You know, and if you don't hear from them, you call them at 5:15 in the morning and say, hey, where are you at? It doesn't have to be a solitary process, right? We can get motivated by just having somebody else there with us. Whatever this situation is for you, reach out to anyone in your life that can hold you accountable, that can be kind of that can be a bit of a partner here. All right. Now we're going to talk about the path of the serpent. If you haven't subscribed to the channel yet, please do. It is totally free, doesn't cost anything. And, well, it supports the channel, and I appreciate that. Your general energy right now is this 4 of Swords. This is kind of a sleepy kind of energy in a way. It's not really, we're not thinking outside the box. We're not moving outside the box. We're not thinking outside the box. We're in that sort of the basic healthy kind of habits and routines, the very baseline, going back to that square one and getting those essential things, those core things in order. It's good. It's good, right? But from there, we have to continue on. We need the 5. We need the motion. We need the change. We need the activity. Going back to square one is good, but you got to get to square 2 and 3 and 4. You got to keep moving. You know, lingering here is stagnation, right? So we've got to think outside the box. We've got to think in a way that sort of stretches our current capabilities. Okay. In some ways, we need to wake up. And you know, when you're asleep and the alarm clock goes off, it's easy for the mind to just say, I'm just going to hit the snooze button and I'm going to go back to sleep. And the more we do that, the easier it gets. It becomes a habit, right? We get into this habit of kind of saying no. We get into this habit of staying home, staying in. Of course, nobody wants to get up and go to the gym or go outside or go work or go do these things. No, it would be so nice to just stay in bed. It's cozy, right? You just, I don't know, lay down, watch TV. And the mind is a really strong force that can say, yeah, let's just hit the snooze button. Let's just stay here and keep doing what we're doing. But we got that 7 of Cups. I think you can see that this is just not, it doesn't feel good anymore. You ever had that feeling where you're in bed and you just, for some reason, you just know that you've been in bed too long and it starts to feel weird? And it's just kind of like, I got to get up and get dressed. I got to go do something. I don't know how to describe that feeling. It's not really a physical thing. It's not like sometimes you're in bed too long, you start to get a backache or something, you get a headache or whatever. No, this is just something it's a different feeling. Yeah. That just kind of, it's an awareness. It's just kind of a gut feeling. It's something vague, but also distinct. It says we've been here too long. We got to do something. We got to get up. Okay? And I think that's the point that you're at right now. And so in position of your environment and your relationships, we have a Princess of Wands. This is spontaneity. This is getting up and doing something. Okay? This is just taking a step outside of the routine, outside of the box. Doesn't matter what you're doing. Go do something different. This might be something new. This is kind of saying, just go to a place you've never been before. Call somebody you haven't talked to in a long time. Start something new or do something spontaneous, even if you've done it before, but make it spontaneous, right? And how do you sort of plan for spontaneity, right? I think when you have one of those moments where you feel that Seven of Cups, and instead of just fighting through it and staying in bed or whatever, hitting the snooze button or just ignoring that Seven of Cups feeling, we take that as the motivation. You feel that Seven of Cups, right then and there you get up and you start doing something. You're just jogging in place, or you're just going to go outside for a walk, or you're going to go in the kitchen and cook something, right? Or you're going to call somebody, or whatever it might be. You're going to get your journal out. You're going to start writing. But you're doing something, and you're prompted by that Seven of Cups feeling, because that Seven of Cups is there for a reason. It's that visceral feeling that something ain't right and you got to do something. So this is that kind of spontaneous response. And the more novel it is, the better. The more different it is than what your routine is, that's better. If it's going to help you break the routine, or what you would usually do, then that's great. Okay? But the Eight of Swords is next. This is your obstacle. You are an overthinker, Gemini. Classic overthinker. And that's your obstacle there, right? Just we have Jupiter in Leo here. This expanding confidence, right? Here we have Jupiter in Gemini, this expanding analysis. The sort of bigger your confidence gets, the bigger the mind gets to try to keep it in its place. The more you think, we start to think about it more and more. And now the patterns of our thoughts have become so complex that we're not able to take any action, that we're sort of wrapped up. This is a tangle of wires. This is classic overthinking, the analysis paralysis. And this, I think, right now is our biggest obstacle. Inertia is our obstacle, as well as the mind kind of doubling down on its efforts to stay at rest. I'm not saying you're lazy. I'm not saying that you don't want to do anything. But I'm saying sometimes we get stuck in these routines. And it starts out as sort of a well-intentioned, but then it starts to stagnate, and we need to get outside of the box. We need to push through and get back in motion toward whatever your goal is, right? And I don't think there needs to be any particular goal. We just need to get our motivation back. Okay? And that's the Nine of Wands at the end. This is your ability to commit to something, to say, okay, look, I'm setting an intention. And I'm going to hold myself accountable if I don't have anybody to, if you don't have this kind of, two against the world partner. You're going to hold yourself accountable. You're going to write it down in your journal or something. Today at this time, I'm going to do this. And then you do it. Okay? And you put in that effort, and you realize that it's going to take an extraordinary amount of effort to get going. But the more you do it, the sort of easier it becomes. The more you get into that flow, and that becomes kind of a new habit. Yeah. But we have to take the oath, we have to set the intention, and we have to just, no matter what happens, at 6 a.m., I'm going to get out of bed and stand up, and I'm going to start walking. When 6 a.m. comes around, you get up out of bed, you start walking. Maybe you're just going to walk in a circle and go right back to bed. That's okay, but at least you did what you said you were going to do. Okay? Now, you are a person of your word. You take promises very seriously. You need to make a promise to yourself and say, I'm going to do this. And there's going to be setbacks. It's going to be a struggle. Sometimes we're going to lag. We're going to find ways to wiggle out of it. But this is where we start. Okay. Now I want to look at the mystery card because I bet this is going to be some very, very clear water energy. That we are going to feel refreshed. We are going to feel happy. We're going to feel joyful. I want a 3 of Cups here. Let's see. A 5 of Cups. That's okay too. You want to know why? Because this is at least movement of the water energy. The feelings are changing, and we're realizing that we have to let go of the negative feelings in order to get those positive ones to take its place. This is the process of filtering, right? The 7 is just really kind of poisonous water. The 5 then is us pushing that water through the filter to purify it. So we're doing the work, and it's not going to feel pleasant all the time. And we may even feel disappointed in ourselves. We get up and say, okay, it's 6 o'clock, I'm going to get up and walk around. You get up, you walk around a circle, right back to bed. Okay? We can think of, oh, I failed, that was terrible, I'm awful, I'm so disappointed. Or we can say, hey, I did it. I said I was going to get up and walk around, and I did. Okay? Now tomorrow I'm going to say I'm going to get up and I'm going to go to the kitchen and drink a glass of water. You know, we can keep expanding it out and out, but how are we motivating ourselves? Let's focus on the positive, right? Let's set intentions. Let's set some goals, reasonable goals, incremental baby steps at first if we have to, right? You can't say, okay, tomorrow at 6 o'clock, I'm going to be a CEO of a company. No. Maybe that's not going to really work, right? We have to set achievable goals in a reasonable way. And even start really simply. You know, like I'm going to get up out of bed at 6 in the morning. Okay, I got out of bed. Go right back to bed. Baby steps is okay. But set yourself up for the win. Set yourself up for a win rather than a loss. Does that make sense? Anyway, we're going to do an extended reading. If you want to stick around, there's a link up top. There's a link down below. New readings for Gemini Mondays and Fridays. Be sure to watch both readings. If you haven't subscribed, please do. It is totally free. It doesn't cost anything. Leave a comment and let me know where in the world you're watching from. I want you to know that you're the most important part of Dove and Serpent Tarot. I thank you and I love you. And we're all in this together.